friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. In today's video, I'm going to be revisiting and talking about the products that I chose for my 2019 Best of Beauty video. I have a good pile in front of me. I clearly had a lot to talk about last year. I thought it would be fun to just kind of go through all of these, see if anything is still a favorite, if I completely loathe anything, and just kind of break everything down again. I will be, of course, doing a Best of Beauty 2020. Just stay tuned for that. That'll be up at some point this month. Also, I'm wearing glasses today because I just felt like wearing glasses. I know I don't usually have glasses in my videos. I apologize if a glare ever happens. Such is life. We're not here for my glasses. We're here for the makeup content. Before we hop into the video itself, I did of course film this look. You can't really see it, but it's there and it is on my Instagram at this point if you want to go check that out. This wig is a Chrisma brand wig. Check my FAQ in the description box if you need spelling. This beanie, I have no clue where it's from. It's old, and I think I got these glasses from iBuyDirect, but these are also quite old, probably at least 3 years old. Anyways, with all of that being said, let's just hop in and chat about my 2019 beauty favorites. So I have my list of everything that I talked about in last year's video. I actually still own most of these, which doesn't surprise me. I didn't just throw everything away, but I do have a couple products that I don't have, so I'll have to pop pictures on the screen. But let's just get started. I'm just gonna go in the order that I do my makeup because that is also the order the list is in. The first product I have to talk about that I no longer own is the Anastasia Dip Brow Gel. I loved this. It was my favorite tinted brow gel for a long time. I really grew into this thing where I love a fiber brow gel so it can kind of fill in my brows while offering a little bit of tint and a little bit of hold. Really liked that one for a long time. However, I don't care about that one in the slightest anymore. My preferences now are the Milk Makeup Kush Fiber Brow Gel or the Glossier Boy Brow. I just like the wand better. It's a little bit shorter and I feel like the formula is just as good if not better. So yeah, I've completely ditched that one. I still thought it was great, but it's just not my favorite anymore. And I also just am not really supporting ABH right now. They've done some weird things. I've talked about it a few times. I'm not really buying their products at the moment. You can check Donnie Darkowitz on Instagram if you need to see screenshots that she posted back in June. I don't know, just put a bad taste in my mouth. So there's that. So not buying because I'm just not into the product, but also just because not into the brand. The next product that I do not have currently is the NYX Control Freak Clear Brow Gel. I really liked that clear brow gel. It's just a pretty fantastic formula. I feel like it holds my hairs in place. I only don't have that one anymore currently just because when I ran out of that one, I had a bunch of Milk Makeup Clear Brow Gels that get sent in PR packages. So I'm trying to go through those, but once I run out of those, I might try that again. However, they came out with this super glue brow gel or something like that. That's supposed to be super extra hold. I will probably try that one next, but if that one fails me, I'll probably go back to the Control Freak because it's very good and very affordable. Moving on to primers, the first one I have to talk about is the Beauty Bakerie Wake and Bake Oil. I loved this, especially the first part of the year. This was like my favorite, like, kind of pre-primer. I would kind of mix this with my primer or do it right before primer. I still really like this. This is my second vial of it, I believe. I didn't get that far into it this year. I definitely didn't use this one as much as last year, but I do still pick it up from time to time. I do still enjoy it. Not sure if I'll repurchase it once I run out of it this go around, but I do still think it's nice. It's a very hydrating, good feeling oil. The next primer I have is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I've actually made quite the dent in it this year. I, again, just kind of go off and on when I use it and when I don't and switch it up. But I've gotten to the bottom of the barrel, getting some product usage out of this. I really liked this one. I did mention on camera before if the dewy one is any good because I know they have like a matte dewy and then this is the original. And I was tempted to try the dewy one once I run out of this one, but you guys have informed me that those ones are not as good and I should just stick with this one. So I will likely repurchase this when I'm out of it. I think this is still a really nice primer. It just feels very smoothing and soft. I like it. The only thing I don't like is the having to dip my finger into it aspect. I really don't like getting my fingers dirty with makeup. The only exception is once in a while I'll tap eyeshadow on with my finger, but I do not like rubbing makeup on with my hands. It makes me feel gross. That's the only nitpicky thing I have about it, but otherwise it's a great formula, great product. The last primer I have is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I love this. You guys know how much I love this. I used this non-stop the last like quarter of the year last year, and I used it for a good portion of this year as well. I haven't used this one in a while just because I wanted to give myself a break from it and spice things up more for you guys and just use other things, try new things out. I still love this. This is for sure in my top 3 primers, hands down. I don't know what my top 3 are, but this is definitely up there. This might still be my #1 favorite. I got pretty close to being done with this one. Milk Makeup actually did send me another one, so I have another one ready to go once I'm out of this one. I actually think I might bust this one out again soon. It's been a while, and I just love this primer. It makes my skin feel kind of tacky, but also moisturized. Makeup sticks really well on this. I've never had an issue with my makeup laying funny on this primer. I love this guy. It's so good. Moving on to foundation, I have two to talk about. The first one is this ABH Luminous Foundation. I really loved this one when I first got it, and I still do like it. I just haven't been reaching for it as much just because of, like I said before, I'm not really featuring ABH on my channel. I'm definitely not buying their stuff right now, but I did really like this formula. It's very dewy, kind of medium coverage. But at the end of the day, I have other dewy foundations that I love, so it's not the end of the world that I'm not really as into this one anymore. But I liked it a lot when I discovered it, and I used it a lot nonstop, but I haven't really been using it that much this year. The other foundation is the Milk Blur Foundation. I do still really like this, however, I haven't used this one that much this year. I've only picked it up very few and far between. Nothing against it, I've just been trying to use other things. I've really been making it a mission to use like a lot of my old foundations to get like use out of them, but I might bust this one out again soon. I might bust out the primer and foundation again because I did really like it. It's advertised as a matte foundation, but to me it's not matte. It's kind of just like a natural finish. I don't like matte foundation, so if it was super matte I wouldn't like it at all, but it's nice. Kind of medium, could be built up to full coverage. I keep it more on the medium side. I'm not a full coverage kind of person. I do still like that foundation even though I haven't gotten a ton of use out of it this year. I do still think it's a fair foundation. Moving on to concealers, I have two to talk about. We have the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate and the Juvias Place I Am Magic. I still consider these some of my favorite concealers. Between these two, the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo and the ColourPop Pretty Fresh, those are my top four. They're all affordable, which is fantastic, but I still love these. I've been cycling through them throughout the year. I feel like I'm getting close to finishing this Makeup Revolution one, but I just try to cycle my concealers around, get some use out of one for a while, and then switch it up. I still think these are fantastic. They're very creamy, very blendable, not so crazy full coverage that it feels cakey, but it does the job for me at least. I feel like they're pretty hydrating without being like overly glowy. They feel good. Nice natural finish. I like it. For cream blush, I only have one thing to talk about, and it's just the ColourPop blush sticks in general. I brought out the shade Mini Me because this was, and maybe still is, my favorite shade from them. It's just a nice soft neutral kind of warm pink, but not overly warm. I feel like neutral is probably the best way to describe this pink. I really like this formula. I typically just use my beauty sponge and rub it on the product and then go onto my skin. I think they blend out nice. I think they look really good. I still really enjoy the blush sticks. I have quite a few shades of them at this point. Haven't been as much of a cream blush person over the last like month or two. I don't know why. I just kind of switched back to just powder, but do still really like the blush stick formula. I think it's nice. Moving on to setting powder, the Milk Makeup Blur Setting Powder was my favorite in 2019, and it is still my favorite in 2020. I use this all the time. This is, I think, my second one, and I still have a good amount of product in it. A lot of people ask me how I deal with the weird applicator. Mine's a mess right now, but it has this little flip top and then it has like a netting. I personally rip off the flip top because it just gets in my way. And then what I do because of the netting is I will keep it closed, powder going everywhere. I'll flip it upside down and tap on it. And then when I flip it back over, product will have been put into the thing, sometimes kind of messy, sometimes not. Once I get to the bottom of the barrel of this, I even pop out the insert with the netting inside of it so I can access the powder easier. But regardless, I love this powder. I think it makes my skin look really nice. It doesn't make me feel too matte, but it sets everything down. I love this powder. I do not think I will ever find a setting powder I like more than that one. The next thing I talked about in that video is my Lunatick Labs contour book. This is the volume 1. I loved this so much last year, especially for this white highlighty shade. I felt like it was really nice. We have a nice range of browns and then grays, so you can kind of customize your perfect shade. Haven't used this one as much this year. I feel like I used it like crazy the first half of the year, and then come summertime, KVD Vegan Beauty sent me a bunch of their products, and I got reintroduced to the Shade and Light contour palette, which I forgot how much I loved that formula, so I used just that one for a long time. And then Kaleidos Makeup came out with their teeny tiny little contour kit, which I love. That's my new favorite contour palette. So I haven't been giving this one as much love. I do still like it. I think it's nice. Once I run out of my Kaleidos one, I'm sure I will bust this one back out. On the occasion I even contour. I don't contour every day anyway, so it's not a product that I reach for all the time, but I still think this is a fine palette. It's expensive. If I were you, I would recommend just like buying the singles of shades that you'd want, unless you truly think you'll get use out of everything, because it's quite large and expensive, but I do still like it. I think it's nice. It's just not like my favorite anymore. I have a couple blush palettes to talk about. I didn't have any single blushes last year, which is really surprising to me. But the first one is the Cotton Candy Champagne palette. I believe I bought this in December of 2018, so I got like a full year's of love out of this one. And now at this point too, I still really enjoy this blush palette. I'm wearing one of the shades right now. I think I'm wearing this shade. I think this is my favorite one, but I'm wearing it right now. They're just very glowy, luminous, lovely pink blushes. We have different tones of pink, from bright hot pink to more of a muted, cooler tone pink. I love the range in here. I think it's beautiful. I still think this is a fantastic blush palette. The next one I talked about was the Likely Makeup Clown Blush palette. I still love this one. I love the fairy one as well, but I either had only just gotten the fairy blush when I filmed this last year, or I didn't have it just yet, but I still love this with my whole heart. I think the yellow blush is super cute. The red's even really pretty with a very light hand. On my pale skin, I actually utilize the orange quite a bit for fall looks. The pink is cute. Overall, it's a really fun, bold blush palette. I think it's great. I want another blush palette so bad. We still only have the two, and I want another one. And the last face palette, which is also kind of an eyeshadow palette, is the Queen palette from Fumi and Juvias Place. It was their collaboration. I'm pretty sure this isn't available anymore, but I still love this. On the occasion that I travel, which travel hasn't happened this year, but when I do travel, I always bring this with me because it has a fantastic highlight. I love this blush. This one is so used and abused. The pink and red even make cute blushes, again with a light hand on my pale skin, but they also all make lovely eyeshadows, 4 beautiful mattes, 2 shimmers. You can't go wrong. I love this little guy. The next thing I talked about were highlights, and the first thing are my Kaleidos makeup highlights. There were only these 6 at the beginning. We had Ray Rider, which is more of like a creamy champagne color. I'm not going to swatch all these things right now because we'll be here for a million years. I will have a fun Kaleidos video on my channel soon. It's either already up or coming soon, so just stay tuned. I'll be swatching everything in that video. This one's Comet Catcher. It's like a really fun pinky purpley, soft, ethereal duochrome kind of shade. Star Surfer here is a really light baby pink shimmer. It's very cute. Solar Sailor is a really cool kind of bluish gold duochrome. It's very fun. Skywalker is a really cute shimmer baby blue. And then the one that got away, it's no longer available, but this is Laser Glazer. It's a really cool green, bronzy, rosy kind of duochrome. It's so cute. But I still love all of these. Since these came out, I think like, I don't know, maybe 5 more have come out this year, and I love all of them. I still think they're all fantastic. I reach for all of them constantly. I think it's a fantastic formula, and they're so fun. The next one I talked about is the Give Me Glow Snow Angel Loose Highlight. I do not think this one's available anymore. If it is, cool. If it's not, sorry. I did wear it today just so we could kind of see it. It's just a very bright, white, soft, magical glow. It's in a powder form, so it's very smooth looking on the skin. It's quite messy, but it's very cute. I still really like that one. This one is Cleo. It's a loose highlight. I'm not going to open it because, again, it's very messy, but it's just a very soft, light, champagne-y, pale gold kind of color. It's so wet looking and shiny. I absolutely adore this. Fairly certain I wore this on my wedding day in February, but I do not remember what I wore on my wedding day. That's so long ago, such a blur. But I still really like this one. I don't reach for it all the time anymore, but I do still think it's quite lovely. And the last highlight is the Milk Makeup one in the shade Iced. There is so much dent in here. I don't reach for this one all the time, but I go through spurts where I'll use this for like a week and a half straight, and then I'll put it away for like a month or 2, and then I'll wear it again for like 2 or 3 weeks straight. So I will play with this one hard when I am playing with it, but then I give a break and play with other things. It's a very, very smooth gold highlight. It looks just so glassy on the skin. It doesn't look chunky. It's not glittery. It's so smooth and pretty. I especially like this one in the spring and summer. I don't know why. It's just my favorite spring summer highlight usually. And I still really like this one. Even though I don't use it all the time, I still think it's beautiful. The next product that I talked about that I no longer have in my possession because I ran out is the Freck Freckle product. I love Freck. I've played with many a Freckle product at this point. I've played with the ColourPop one, the Lottie London Freckle tint. I'm wearing the Kimchi Chic one right now. I've played with the Lime Crime pens. I've played with a lot, and Freck is still my favorite. I know it's the most absurdly expensive one, but it's truly my favorite. I only don't have another one in my possession now because I'm trying to use some of the other ones that I have, but I'm definitely going to order it again soon because I love it. I always order the XL one now that's bigger. It's a better value for your money and it lasts longer because it's obviously bigger. So yeah, that's all I really have to say. I still love it with my whole heart. I know it's stupid expensive, but I just love it. Moving on to setting spray now, I talked about the Apocalyptic Beauty setting sprays. This is the only one I still currently have. It's the pumpkin spice one. I still really like this one. I used it a little bit throughout the year. I used this mostly during like fall time because pumpkin spice, you know. I still like their setting sprays. I just don't know if I would deem them a favorite anymore. I just have other setting sprays I like more. I'm currently obsessed with the Milk Hydro Grip setting spray. I really like the Pixie Glow Mist. I really like the ColourPop Pretty Fresh setting spray. So I just feel like I have some other favorites over this one now, but I do still think it's a fine setting spray. This next one has been like the most used thing from this video. I feel like this is the NYX Glitter Primer. Last year I discovered using glitter primer to help my shimmers pop more. I'm able to make cut creases without having to use concealer. I freaking love this stuff. It's magic in a tube. I'm still obsessed with it. I use it every single time I play with shimmers. I cannot get enough with this. I think this is my second tube. It's getting kind of close to the end. I already have a backup in my drawer that one of my friends actually got me as a gift last Christmas. So I'm stocked up. I love this stuff. I don't think I'll ever stop using it. Okay, now we're gonna get into eyeshadow palettes. I have a decent pile and it's fun to revisit these because I think I still love all of these so much. The first is the Sugarpill Fun Size palette. It's so cute. This is like a pastel neon palette. You can wear them more sheer as pastels or build them up to be bright and neon. 9 pans, 9 mattes. It's very cute. I love this palette still. I think it's a lot of fun. I don't reach for it all the time, but I think it's so stinking cute. And I really want to see another mini palette like this from Sugarpill. This year's been the year of capsule palettes from Sugarpill, and as much as I like the capsules, I want to see another cute little 9 pan like this. Next up, another pastel palette. This is the Nomad Cosmetics Tokyo Harajuku. I still love this one, especially for that bottom row of like magical duochrome beauty. It's so pretty. The mattes on the top are really soft and easily blended. The row in the middle is satins. It's not my personal favorite formula, but they look fine. It's just a preference thing. I'd much prefer shimmer or matte. I don't really want that satin kind of feel, but they're still cute. I've used this palette so many times. I feel like I've done a million videos on this palette and I still really, really enjoy this. It's one of my favorite pastel palettes. My discount code BEAUTBEAN10 will save you 10% on Nomad's site. That is a non-affiliated discount code. It's just for you to save money. I don't make a commission. Next is the Certifeye Affinity 2 palette. I still really enjoy this one. I actually used this recently twice to create an Instagram video and also a holiday look. I featured this in my winter makeup favorites because I feel like it's a good winter blue-green palette. I still think this is lovely. I really like the layout with it being kind of longer. It's just a little bit different and I really like it. It's very sleek and I think this one's still a lot of fun. Speaking of blue-green palettes, now we have the Ace Beaute Oceanic palette. This one I'm pretty sure I deemed as my favorite blue-green palette at this point. I just think it's so pretty. It has the perfect combination of like neon bluey green colors, but also very deep, grungy, murky ones. I love this palette. I personally love Ace Beaute's formula. I think the mattes are super pigmented, but they blend nicely, and the shimmers are just so wet looking. I still quite enjoy this palette. I played with this a few times again over the summer, and it was a lot of fun. And the final blue-green palette. This is the Menagerie Whale Song. I also absolutely adore this one. This one was tied with the Ace Beaute Oceanic as my favorite blue-green palette, but I think the Oceanic beat it by just slightly. But this again also has those very grungy, murky tones that I crave. Their shimmer formula is just so incredibly foiled looking. It's so pretty. The mattes again are so just buttery and pigmented and blendable. I enjoy this palette quite a lot as well. I need to bust this one out and give it some love again soon. I don't think I've played with this one in a little while, but it's still beautiful. I love Menagerie. Oh, this next one brings me back. I talked about the Blush Tribe Paulina palette. I think I got this in like January of 2019, so I had this for the whole year. I still think this is such a lovely palette. I haven't played with it as much recently, but I think it's so cute still. These mattes blend so nicely. The shimmers are so wet looking. I feel like the color story is just so creative and fun. Unfortunately, Blush Tribe is no longer available. Even though the collab itself isn't available, the whole company isn't available anymore, but I still love this palette. I still hold it dear to my heart. I still think Paulina's great, and I'm gonna hold on to this guy. Not that this is a declutter or anything, of course I'm holding on to everything, but I don't think I'll ever get rid of that palette. I think it's just too cute. Of course, the Ace Beaute Flair. I should have talked about this when I talked about the Oceanic, but this is still one of my favorite palettes. This is in my top 3 for sure. I just love it so much. It's so pretty. It has like the bright colorfulness, but also the grungy aspect. I just think it's too good. This is another one I always bring traveling because it just has so much of what I need. I just think this one is too fun, and I can't believe I've been loving this for so many years now. I think this has been one of my favorite palettes for, I guess, about 2 years straight. It's crazy. This is definitely in my top 3. I feel like this is number 2. Number 1 being my collab palette, of course. Like, of course that has to be number 1. But I think this is in 2nd place, and I guess I'll talk about 3rd place right now. This is the Melt Cosmetics Muerte palette. Unfortunately, this is no longer available either. They ended up discontinuing it, and I do not understand why, because so many people love this collection, but I just think this is one of the prettiest palettes I've ever laid my eyes on. This color story got me so hyped at the end of last year. I mean, there's a reason why this is like 2nd or 3rd place as far as my favorite palette ever. It's just so pretty. I love Melt's formula. As far as what I've tried, I guess I've gotten lucky with the palettes that I've tried from them, but I just think this is too good. The color story is so fun. I still love this with my whole heart. Next up, we have the Trio from Pinky Rose Cosmetics I talked about. It's crazy. Like, I feel like I've had these a million years now, but again, I think I got these at the beginning of 2019. This is the 80s Baby palette. It's kind of like purples and yellows. It's very fun. It's very like complementary colors, opposite of the color wheel. It's very fun. The Obsessed palette is more of like pinks and reds, pops of neutrals, pops of blue. It's very cute, very summer. And then the Exotic Peacock, which is my favorite of the 3, it's peacock colors, blue, purple, green. It's very fun. I love the murky yellow in here. I still think these palettes are really cute. I wish Pinky Rose would come out with palettes with like bomb color stories like this again. I feel like all the other palettes they released since this have just been very boring to me. I did not at all like the palette they came out with the lightning bolt shapes. That was not it for me. I want them to bring back something like this. This Trio was so much fun for me, and I feel like I'd still be pretty excited about these if they came out now. I'm not as in love with these as I was when I first got them, but man, did I use these like crazy when I first got them. I thought they were so fun. And they're still very cute. Just not like 100% like my favorite thing ever anymore, but they're fun. And the last set of palettes I have to talk about are my Kaleidos palettes. I am only holding the first 5 because these are the ones that I believe were out last year. I think even 4 and 5 were out last year, but it could have just been the first 3. We have the Sci-Fi Green, which is lots of murky greens and yellows. The Cyber Bronze is like neutrals with like pinky reds. It's very cute. It's very holiday in my opinion. I talked about this one in my winter makeup favorites. The Astro Pink was my first favorite from them back when they only had the 3 palettes. I just thought this one was so fun. I love the blue duochrome shade in here. It's such a pretty shimmer. I also just like the packaging on these kills me. Like, it's just all so creative and beautiful. The VR Neon, which I think came out last year. Hopefully I'm not wrong, but either way I still love this one. Neon colors. This one's no longer available unfortunately, but it's still very fun. And finally, the Electro Turquoise. I call it my perfect Taco Bell palette because it has Taco Bell colors in my opinion. This was my favorite for the longest time out of their palettes until one came out recently, but I still think this one is so fun. I'm still obsessed with the Kaleidos palettes. I still get very excited about them. I feel like the color stories are so cute and curated. I have a blast with them. I reach for them constantly. I think they're wonderful. All right, next let's talk about eye pencils. Last year was my year of discovering that I have to have an eye pencil with every eye look. I love popping a color in the waterline, something to contrast or complement. It's all so fun. I do not go without that step now. I talked about the NYX Slide On Glide On pencils. I'm in particular wearing glitzy gold right now, but literally all of the slide-ons are perfect. I'm holding Azure and Platinum right now. I also talked about the LA Girl Shockwave pencils. I use both the eye pencils and the lip pencils in my waterline. My eyes aren't super sensitive to it. I guess just be careful if you choose to. The lip pencil I'm holding is Blaze, and this turquoise one is called Fresh. Very, very fun and vibrant. And ColourPop's pencils, I really like these as well, and I feel like their eye pencil formula has just gotten better and even creamier. I'm holding Crybaby the Lavender and Prance the Periwinkle right now, 2 of my favorites. Who knows if they're available anymore because ColourPop discontinues everything, but I discovered loving eye pencils and I still reach for all of those constantly. So good. I haven't really even discovered that many other eye pencils since. Like, I've used some of the other NYX ones, but just these brands are still my go-to brands for eye pencils. Next, I have lashes to talk about. My 3 favorite lash brands last year. 2 I do not currently have, but I discovered I love Bold Face Makeup so much. Thrill Seeker, Mega Babe, Alter Ego, those are some of my favorites. I actually really need to make a order with them and get some new lashes. I just have other lashes I'm going through, so I'm trying not to be like excessive because I have stuff, but I do at some point want to repurchase some lashes from them because they're one of my favorite brands for dramatic lashes. Next are Rouge and Rogue, which I do have a pair right here. This style is Miss Fury, one of my favorites. Miss Fury and Slayer are probably my favorite styles from Rouge and Rogue. I still think they're fantastic. And I also talked about Likely Makeup's lashes, and I haven't tried those, I don't think at all this year. And I don't know why, because she's come out with really cool styles this year. I guess just money. I've been trying to save money this year. I haven't really bought a whole lot of new this year, but I do want to try more of her styles. She has really fun styles, everything ranging from super big and dramatic to very piecey to very soft, very wispy, quite the range. I want to try more of them as well, but I can't say that I've used a whole lot of them this year, so. Alright, so moving on to lip products. The first thing I talked about was this NYX Bear With Me lip conditioner. I still quite enjoy this. Can't say it's my favorite thing ever anymore. I feel like I've discovered other lip products. There's an e.l.f. CBD lip oil that I really enjoy, and it smells like mint chocolate. It's so good. The e.l.f. Ride or Die lip balms are great. I really like this new lip mask that I got from ColourPop. This one is still great though. It's very slippy and glidey and makes my lips feel really nourished. I like it. I just can't say it's my favorite one anymore. The first liquid lipstick I talked about is Black Moon Cosmetics Cider. It's the prettiest like mustard yellow. Maybe I'll swatch the lip products so you can see, but it's the prettiest mustard ever. I still consider this one of my favorite lip products. I'm pretty sure I ranked this as like number 3 in my top 10 liquid lipsticks. I just think it's so fun and grungy and beautiful. Next, I talked about just the Lip Blaze formula from Lime Crime in general. I'm wearing this one right now called Fern. It's just a really pretty grungy brown color. I feel like it almost has like a green olive undertone. It's not green, but I feel like it has that little bit of an undertone. This formula is still very comfortable. It's very just creamy, glidey, hydrating. It's very nice. This is nice if you like the liquid lipstick aspect as far as the wand goes, but you don't want it to dry down matte. This is very creamy and very comfortable. I talked about the ColourPop So Juicy glosses. This is the shade Princess Cut. As you can see, it's like almost halfway gone. This is my favorite clear lip gloss. It's just a nice plumping gloss. I've tried a few other shades as well. I think it's all really great. It's one of my favorite gloss formulas from ColourPop. I can't decide if it's this or the Luxe formula. This one's up there though. It's very comfy and I really like the tube. It's very cute and nostalgic. It reminds me of those old school Victoria's Secret glosses. I talked about the Menagerie liquid lipsticks in general. I'm pretty sure Pink Pachyderm was one of my favorites last year, so I brought that one out. I still really like the Menagerie liquid lipsticks. They have lots of really fun colors. That pink is so cute. I can see why it used to be one of my favorites. I still reach for them. I think they're a lot of fun. I've been using a lot of the reds lately for holiday looks and I still quite enjoy their formula. And since filming this, they've actually upgraded their packaging, so now their doe foot has like a little like hole in the middle to help spread the product easier, and I like it a lot. And last, I talked about a couple Sugarpill things. First, I talked about the glosses. In particular, I brought out Bloom, but Flicker's also a favorite. But I love my Bloom gloss. I've still loved this a lot this year. It's a really pretty kind of blue purple shimmer. It's very slippy, very glidey. I'm actually shocked that these are the only 2 glosses I had to talk about. Who's willing to bet I'm gonna have a million more glosses to talk about this year? I've become such a gloss person this year. And the only other thing I have to talk about is I mentioned the Sugarpill Nurse liquid lipstick. It's funny because like I do like this red. I used it in a holiday look. I'm pretty sure I talked about this in my 2020 winter favorites video, but I don't know if I'd consider it like a favorite lip product in general, like for the year, but I do still think it's quite nice. I'm actually getting kind of low on this lipstick. I only probably have a couple more uses out of it. So I mean, I guess I loved it like crazy last year if it's almost empty now, but yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my video just kind of revisiting and going over my 2019 favorites. I feel like a lot of these have just carried on into this year. There aren't too many things that I've completely ditched. I feel like I still incorporate a lot of these. I felt so nostalgic talking about a lot of these. It's crazy. It feels like I've had some of these products for literally a billion years. I'd love to know what you think about the products that I talked about. Did you have any of these as well? Are you still interested in any of these? What are some of your favorites from 2019 that you're still obsessed with this year? If you made it to the end of this video, leave me a yellow emoji because I have a lot of yellow going on right now. And if you liked this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please hop over to my Instagram. It's BEAUTBEAN. Follow me there. I post every single day. And don't forget to subscribe because I'm posting every single day in December as well. Please make sure you're staying informed with everything that's going on in the world. There will be links in my description box that will take you to information and resources and ways in which you can help. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.